Hello, Mr. Cartier. Thank you for meeting with us today. We're Team 18, and we're here to present to you some more solutions to your situation at Rally Mountain Ski Resort. So on the agenda, we'll be considering some issues, goals including short and long term, solution looking over your company health, including cash usage, and pricing options, whether to increase, decrease, or create new packages, and in the end, a conclusion. So some issues to consider, you can see, are risk factors, which includes weather conditions and international economy. These two factors are completely out of control. However, please keep in mind that this will highly influence your revenue stream. And as for internal pressures, we understand that the physical location of your company is rather far from big cities, making it difficult for you to attract the city people. As well, you're facing high competition from nearby similar ski resorts such as Devil Hill and Timber Valley. And so, considering those factors, we came up with the problem, how will Rally Mountain survive? In order to answer the question, we established some goals. For the short-term goal, we believe that it is crucial for you to obtain $700,000 this year for you to secure the government grant, which will match that amount threefold, releasing you from your debt stress and also allowing you to look into the long-term solutions. So for our long-term goals, we came up with three, one of them being increasing loyal customer base. In order to do this, we believe it's be beneficial for you to look into the youth and women demographics for their untapped markets. As well, this ties in with our second goal, which is to create a skiing culture. Similar to you and your colleague, the reason why you are so devoted to this mountain is because you started skiing at this resort at a young age, and thus identifying yourselves with this. This is exactly where we're trying to go with our second goal. And ultimately, we want to develop your community resort into a destination resort, allowing you to reach out into a bigger market. And also we wanted to talk about some non-accounting concerns, including increasing employee morale, as well as marketing into nearby cities. By looking at the competitive intelligence, we concluded that customer satisfaction is crucial for that. The profitability depends on that, the happiness of the customers. And looking at the exhibit, we concluded that Company B and C invested heavily into their labor and thus making them profitable as well. And also, when you're financially able to do so, market into nearby cities such as Onondaga County, which has more than twice the population of Syracuse. Now I'll pass it down to my colleague to talk about the company health.
Thank you. So you can see here that our company health is listed here. Our visits for 2010 have actually decreased from the year before. However, our revenue has increased. So this is a good thing, and you can tell that actually there is a potential to gain more revenue per customer due to the package that you're offering and the type of tickets that they're buying. However, you can also see that expenses have also gone up by quite a lot. And in fact, this is what's causing us to have a net income that's even lower than last year. So these figures here, operating margin and profit margin, are basically showing you that for the amount of revenue that you're getting, your costs are really out of control, especially with this profit margin staying the same as last year, showing that your costs are really an issue for you, and that's what's stopping you. So where are you spending? Basically, the two biggest figures in your income statement of expenses, one is your interest payments have gone up by about $200,000, and the other one is your repairs. So repairs, we are not sure. You'll have to look more into your company to see are these one-time repairs or are these going to be ongoing repairs? If this is going to be ongoing repair, it's going to be a long-term cost that you need to be considering. And also then we have these three figures here. These are showing you basically your current ratio, working capital, and your asset test ratio. It's showing you that right now your current assets, meaning the things that you could sell off within the next year to pay your debt off, is much less, about actually $2.8 million less than what you have to pay off in the next year. So this is definitely a worrying concern. The next thing we can look at is return on assets. So right now, for basically every dollar that you're putting into the company, you're losing 14 cents. And that's because of your net income is negative at the moment. And asset turnover, however, has been increasing, meaning that you're getting more out of your assets than you were before. However, this is also because your assets are depreciating and so becoming smaller. But another thing is we need to look at is your interest coverage. Interest coverage is basically the amount of money you have in your company to be able to pay off your interest payments that are due. And as you can see, this is decreasing. So this is also another worrying factor, because if you're not able to pay your interest payments, you basically can't survive anymore, right? So while your revenue is growing, you can see your assets are decreasing, and that's because of amortization. So does amortization matter? Well, it does matter in the long term. Right now you're not paying any cash because your assets are depreciating. However, eventually, when your asset comes to the end of its useful life, you're going to have to buy a new asset. And that time you're going to have a lot of costs. So that's why we have amortization in our income statement to start with. Looking at the competition here, we can see company A, B, and C. So while we are comparing these figures, you need to keep in mind that different companies vary in their profitability, in their size, and the different kind of custom offerings they're giving to their customers. So we need to take that into account. However, you can look at it, and just looking briefly at it, you can see that while our revenue is the highest of all of our competitors, our expenses are also the highest. And that means our net income is actually the lowest. So there is definitely a problem. This is not just a weather trend affecting all the people in the industry, but there's actually something in our company that needs to be solved. Our profit margin is also the smallest. So looking at the cash flow statement, unfortunately we weren't able to balance the last $78,000, but roughly speaking, we can see where most of our costs are going. Where is our cash going? Right? So as I said, amortization is giving back a lot of cash, but that is something we need to be worried about in the future. But otherwise, you can see investing activities are also a negative figure. And so these are things that you're repairing things, and we're not sure, as I said, are these going to be continued costs, or is this going to be a one-time cost? So after looking at this, we can kind of see, get a feel for the company and realize we're actually in a lot of trouble, as I'm sure you're aware of. So now we're going to be looking at how can we get more revenue from this, and how can we change our pricing options to balance out. We need to fix our costs, but we also need to look at the revenue. So my colleague will be explaining further.
Thank you. So currently your break-even units came to a number of 58,448 visits. Compared to the 46,000 visits you have, obviously we are not able to justify that. So we tried to increase the price by increasing the contribution margin by 10% and gave us a break-even of 53,134 units. We're still not meeting the current demand. So we looked into another option of creating new packages. We understand that your direct competitor is Devil's Hill, for that you're both community resorts, and we tried to see what they're doing well, and they're specializing in easier slopes and ultimately their lower price. And in order to capture their market, we recommend you to create a beginner's package of perhaps offering a few days worth of daily passes and a few lessons at a comparable price. And also, our second option is to offer passes early at a lower price. So since frequent skiers only ski about 5 times per season, when they purchase passes, they think about, oh, am I going to go enough times to make my money's worth of this pass? And currently, most of your passes do not justify that. So this is why we recommend to offer passes at an early stage, maybe in September, at a lower price, because that will secure a customer base, and also they're obligated to go to the mountains, and as well from that you're able to get revenue from your other streams, such as the hotel accommodations as well as the restaurants. And tying that with the increase in employee morale, this will actually increase the customer satisfaction, creating a long-term loyal customer base, which will sustain you guys in the long run. So in conclusion,
we can see that our revenue has increased, but our expenses are also really high. So this is what we're recommending to you, is our pricing option to create new packages, and of course addressing your cost. But for the short term is to change your pricing and get that $700,000 so that you can deal with this next year. Thank you very much for listening to our presentation.